Mr. Speaker.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Speaker, they say body language is everything. And I want to congratulate the gallery for staying awake and for their stamina. And I want to say that the events thus far put me in mind of nothing so much as a guy stepping up to kick a ball 80 metres over the goal to get a penalty to win the game. 80 metres. And all his supporters and colleagues are all sitting there breathless, expecting that he might just get it over. Excepting they know in their mind's eye he hasn't got a hope in Hades. And nor have they. And nor have they. I have never seen so many nervous Nellies on the backbench. Now, the only thing that they agree on in the National Party backbench is that they know, despite their party's blatant, awful economic and social mistakes, we are still somehow a country of opportunity. And you know how they determine that? By looking at their front bench. Have a good look at these tired, old, uninspiring, visionless men in the main. Old? Look, Nick Smith makes me look young. Unbelievable. Haven't got any idea at all. Just hanging on for dear life. Just hanging on. Talk about unity. 18 are going. 18 are going.
How many?
18.
They got employment?
No, that means they must have chosen some bums the last time around. That's what it means. Look, two things happened today. The Prime Minister put out that statement this morning, and the Governor of the Reserve Bank said, I'm going to join John Key, I'm going to quit. That's what happened today. They know that the game's up for them. Mr. Speaker, it's time for some truth on our economy. This government has serious inability to address the problems that they and their policies have created, and no amount of spin, hype and grandiose talk will dispel the fact that we go into the 2017 election and they're on a hiding to nothing. They all know it. And they're trying every dirty little tactic behind closed doors. They're financing the Maori Party. They're funding them. They're propping up the guy in Epsom. Now, you know, I don't want to say these things because they can be misconstrued. But have you ever seen cuckold politics?
This is just corrupt.
Corrupt. And what's the other one in Wellington? Oh, Harrier.
But they used to hand out.
Now, you know, how can any self-respecting party... Oh, yes, the Maori Party. Oh, I know. Oh, boy, are they big on tino rangatiratanga. Oh, are they big on that. Until it comes to standing on their own 2 feet and showing a bit of old-fashioned Maori tribal pride. Oh, no.
Let the hand out.
Yes, sir. 3 bags full.
Can I have some more?
That's their policy. Talk about tino rangatiratanga, they wouldn't understand the concept. To stand on your own feet, like this party is, the hope and salvation for this country is not easy. It's not easy. Ladies and gentlemen, New Zealand is not an economic success story. You know what they say about, the old Maori say about a hen making too much noise like a rooster? What do they say now, my Labour mates get that? What do the old Maori say about a hen making the noise of a rooster? Anyway, I can't say that today. Look, the fact of the matter is, this is not economic success. The rock star economy that Bill English constantly touts, as he has done today, is a fiction. Look at some of the facts and you'll see how easily his claims are dispelled. Strip out population growth. Record almost 4 times that which saw Brexit in the UK, which saw Donald Trump win the United States. We saw a dramatic change in the Australian election last year as well. We're seeing a dramatic change in Germany, France and Italy. You strip out this massive population growth and what do you have? A very boring economy performing below 1% growth. All the rest is immigration. New Zealand's productivity performance is amongst, therefore, the lowest in the OECD. How do I know that? Because in the old days, a guy called John Key, no, not John will say anything. a guy called Bill English used to say things like that. Yeah. Strip out the population growth. Our GDP per capita is below the OECD average. And with the share of exports of goods and services in our total economic output at around 30% by international standards, we are not an export-driven economy. And this country is export-dependent for its survival and prosperity. Mr. Speaker, it's amazing, you know. The government used to have a target to increase the contribution of exports to the economy from 30% of GDP to 40% by 2025. And they've dropped it. They've dropped it. It's gone from their targeting. They know they can't do that. And we have a staggering net liability internationally of $163 billion. And in the House today, he releases a statement saying he's getting on top of debt. He's getting on top of debt. At $163 billion and a chronic balance of payments deficit, there's no prospect of repaying our debt. What do you think a balance of payments deficit is? Well, for those untutored people over there, it's called debt. And that's where we got ourselves. And on jobs, well, they fling open the door for immigrants at record levels, a net influx of 70,000 a year, and unemployment is going back up. Back up. Another 10,000 unemployed were added to the job list in the latest quarterly household figures released last week. And let me tell you about the deceit of those figures. And New Zealanders need to know that. You go under the National Party from being unemployed to employed if you get 1 hour's work a week. Just 1 hour, or 2 hours, or 5 hours, they say, now you're employed, you're off the unemployed statistics. It blows away the phony optimists who have been predicting the unemployment would be falling throughout 2017. And the insanity of having record immigration whilst we've got almost 140,000, mainly New Zealanders, but many of them are new immigrants, officially unemployed is obvious to all Kiwis now. And of course the headline figure is the tip of the much bigger iceberg of those who are on part-time work and can't get nearly enough work to keep their families and themselves going. The latest unemployment data confirms what New Zealanders have long suspected. And that's why the National Party is in trouble in 2017. And as for their puppets, well, they're all going to go out. Their puppets haven't got a hope in Hades. When they realise that their so-called guardsman is not up to it, then the public will send them on their way. The real aim of open-door immigration policy is to suppress the wages of ordinary New Zealanders.
That's right.
The real objective of mass immigration at almost 4 times the level of the UK, far greater than Australia and far greater than the USA, is to drive down wages and drive up competition. Migrants are soaking up entry-level and basic jobs around the country. And having Kiwis fearful of their jobs from new migrants desperate for work is a disgraceful unemployment policy, and that's why we're going to cream the floor with you in this campaign. That's right, yeah. That's why we're going to go around the country, pack the halls, and take you guys to the cleaners because you don't deserve to survive. Again. And you haven't got the brains or the skills anyway. Talk about the Green leader. The Green leader forgot the fact they're so bad at business, they gave South Canterbury Finance $800 million and didn't cap their guarantee. So it blew out 800 further million. A blowout of 800 million. They gave Rio Tinto hundreds of millions. They gave Sky Casino 42 million extra a year. They dish money out like an 8-armed octopus and then go down to Ratner, as the Prime Minister did, and said, we got no more money, we can't help you. And what did the 2 Maori members say?
Oh, yeah, it's all right.
Was that right? That's what they said.
They said nothing.
No, they said, amen, brother.
They said nothing.
They said, amen, brother. Yeah. They were quite religious. Unbelievable. No wonder they're so desperate. And if you've got Tuku, at the head of your party, you've got trouble. You've got serious trouble. Now, ladies and gentlemen, last week, Bill English went to Auckland to a Rotary Club. They must have been desperate because they invited him. And there he gave a speech about the state of the nation. And guess what? In the city with the fourth worst housing crisis in the whole wide world, he never mentioned the house price debacle. Not once. How do you like that? He goes to Auckland and the state of the nation, and the number one thing glaring in his face is the housing crisis of Auckland, where you people can't buy a house, where generations are being shut out, where they can't now rent, where teachers are saying, I might be qualified, but I'm getting out of here because I can't afford to stay here and practice my profession. I've got to go somewhere else. He didn't even mention the house price debacle. That's another mess. Oh, no. Now, I want to tell that Maori Party member that makes far too much noise that 75,000 Maori just want a house. 75,000 Maori want a house. And I want to know every Maori out there looking for a house, looking for a chance to do what great parties once delivered, is that we've got in this parliament 2 Maori members trying to overtalk another one that's far more experienced than them. And as far as these 2 members go, they'd rather keep their ministerial home than get the Maori people a home. Yes, unbelievable. Rather keep their ministerial home than give the Maori people a home. 75,000. And just to make sure that 75,000 Maori can't get a home, they back mass immigration. To make sure they can't get a Maori can't get a job, they back mass immigration. In fact, you know what that party said? They said we shouldn't be criticising this mass immigration. We should be going to the airport to give them a porphyry. That's a good idea, yeah. Now, a porphyry is a welcoming message. That's how dysfunctional these the sociology-trained academics in the Maori Party are. They are totally devoid of the condition, economic and social, of the people in places like Morewa, Kawarau, all around the country. No. When I go down there and I say to the Maori people, have you got a snapper from this Maori Party? You got 1 inch of land from this Maori Party? You got anything from this Maori Party? Do you know what Whānau is doing for you? Is it uplifting your life? They say to me, brother, we don't know what you're talking about because we're getting nothing. That's right. The sooner we get some real representation that understands the condition of Maori is the same as the condition of Europeans in this country, that people in this country want 4 things. They want first world housing that they can afford. They want a health system they can access, be it for their child or their grandmother, grandfather. They want an education system that keeps the escalators going so that they can progress regardless of their race. And they want first world jobs and first world wages. That's right. That's what Maori want. And come to think of it, that's what everybody in this country wants, and one party understands it. And you're talking to it. Only one party. We're going to shock you guys in this campaign, and we're going to shock you guys as well. We're going to turn your polls into confetti. And I would have thought from the Brexit campaign and the campaign in Australia and the campaign in the United States that you might have learned in the gallery that your polls are drivel. And I thought you might have learned from the Northland by-election, where the man over there said I didn't have dog show, and we won over 17,412 and busted them in 4 weeks flat. Got you worried? Yeah, I know your knees are knocking, and they should be. Because that's going to be a very short ministerial post. Don't get too used to the cars. Don't get used to the house. Don't get too used to all those places. Because I'll tell you something, it ain't going to last much longer. And when we get down there in the South Island and start spreading the word, it'll be all over for you. Be all over for you. Oh, yes, unlike your former leader, I live in my electorate. And they hate it. I know what they're saying up there. They're going around and saying, he doesn't even live up here. Everybody in my village knows they're lying. They see me travelling those dusty roads, going over those single-lane bridges, trying to go out in the water to get my phone going because they're not delivering the services, speaking to the people in Terry because they haven't got ultra-fast broadband like they promised, full of bull dust. No, they know all about it. And also they decided they're going to put a cop up. That's 3 in a row. How do you like that? Bit stupid, aren't they? But anyways, back to my point. You know, it became very clear today what Bill English intends to do. You know what he's going to do? He's going to blame the public service. He's going to go to all those desperate provinces, like the North, like Gisborne, like Rotorua, because they've got such a terrible collapsing environment there. There are these 3 mayors of these 3 areas all saying they're pushing for anti-poverty tools. They're asking for a chance to take over the agencies and help their local people, but they don't realise It's not the agency's fault when they're massively underfunded.
That's right.
And their line is they're going to blame the agencies. Clear and transparent. I tell you what we'll do. We'll tell the people of Rotorua and Northern and down the East Coast and Gisborne, your condition is brought about by the public service. How do you like that? Unbelievable. They, in the provinces, and North is a good example of it, it's in the top half of the export-earning electorates and down the bottom of everything else.
Yeah.
And our job is to expose people who would keep them there, like the Maori Party,
That's right.
like the ACT Party,
Like the Act Party.
and like that party that's been around for so long, calls itself the National Party. They should be up for false pretences. There's nothing national about the National Party. They're a globalist party. They're the party that believed in the TPPA. They're the party when we said a year ago it's dead on the water, they ignored us. And yet they're the first over there to talk to Donald Trump. What a joke that is. And the media write that they're going to get a free trade agreement with the UK, with the EU, with Donald Trump. Meanwhile, they collapsed our chance of getting a decent deal with the second biggest dairy and beef import in the world, namely Russia. What a bunch of clowns in a diplomatic china shop. One disaster after another. What is Tim Grosser doing in Washington? Pray tell me what's he doing about having a few red wines all the time? Because he's got no purpose to be there. Nobody's going to talk to him over there. TPA's dead on the water. Dead on the water. He must be well unemployed. Why don't you bring him home? And send us across there now and again. We'll make more progress.
We will.
At least we can talk to them.
That's right.
At least we can talk to them. Can I just say one thing on the police? The National Party claimed for 8 long years that crime was falling. Every criminal lawyer in this country was saying, look, they've got a catch and release policy. Why they can say that is that they're catching people, but they're not charging them, they're warning them. And they kept it up for 8 long years under successive ministers. This is how deceitful they were. They capped the police numbers so the police per 1,000 dropped dramatically. We had hundreds of stations in this country with nobody on at night, nobody on the weekend. People ring up to Dunedin, as I did one time in Dunedin. I ring up Dunedin, and guess what I got? I got Auckland, the Auckland Police Station. And I thought, excuse the language, but if I've been on there for an hour, guess what Joe Bloggs is going to be putting up with? But no, they kept it up. And then they thought, hang on, New Zealand's not falling for this. We'll go and get some extra police people over the next 4 years. And 800 frontline men and women does not even cut it. It's not even half the number that's required. 1,800 takes us back to where we were going from 2008, and he had the temerity to get up at Auckland and say the security of the citizens on their streets is his #1 priority. That's what Bill English said. Well, I can say, Bill, I don't think you're going to last very long. I think your campaign in 2017 is going to be about as successful as it was in 2002.
That's right.
As successful as it was in 2002. And the only common thing between those two campaigns is one party was as ready in 2002 as we're going to be in 2017. And in that campaign, we started it with the polls saying we were on 1%, and after 4 weeks flat, we almost made 11. That's about to happen again in 2017. Then look at the political scenery at that point in time and stop writing this drivel about who's going to be the next government. You're looking at it. You're looking at it. I know, Jerry, being the patriot he is sometimes, even he hopes it's going to happen. I know in his heart of heart, he wants to know that he can retire with somebody running the economy that can keep it going soundly. I know he knows what retirement looks like, but he wants to be able to know that we can even afford the Parliamentary Retirement Fund. And the only chance of him getting that is we make it. The only chance of him getting that is if we make it. No. Don't.
Oh, he hasn't.
I walked out of Parliament on a matter of principle and sacrificed 35% of mine. Yes, I did. These people don't remember that, but I do. Because keeping our word and having integrity and principles is what one party's famous for. And again, you're looking at it. Can I just say in closing, Mr. Speaker, we're looking forward to this campaign. When they announced that it's going to be on the 23rd of September, it ticked every box of our planning, down to every tranche of our candidates, the launch of our campaign. I can't tell you where, but I know it's the most exciting news for you. And also our AGM and what city it's going to be in. And so I can promise New Zealanders right now something very, very significant. I know things are difficult and troubled, and I know it's been very hard for you, but hang on, because help's on its way. Yeah.